Hello, Liz Matchett. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Very, very well. I'm so glad to see you, and I'm particularly glad to hear you since we had some issues with sound, but we've overcome them,
Yes, we
as
have.
educators do. You persist. So we're talking today because you are the author of the Educator Voices piece in the spring issue of the Language Educator. And I was so pleased to receive your submission. But I need you to tell readers and members just a little bit about who you are, because we don't get to put a long bio in there. So whose voice is this?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm a proud ACTFL member, and I've been an ACTFL member for a long time. But if you want to count memberships, I pretty much belong to everything I can belong to. And so I belong to ACTFL, I belong to Southwest Cold, I belong to the California Language Teachers Association, I belong to the Stanford World Language Project, I belong to the Foreign Language Association of Northern California. I just joined American Association of Teachers of Spanish and Portuguese. And why do I join? It's not because I have a ton of money to just continue to spend on memberships. It's because I get back every cent I put in and more in relationships that are pedagogical or relationships with actual people. And it's not nearly the same thing as being online, being on Instagram or being on Facebook, or that's it's just not the same. I came into being a
I
language
agree.
teacher back in the 80s, and we didn't have any stuff like that. We had to make connections with people, and finding a connection took me a little bit of time. And I also didn't realize I needed the connections until I started making the connections. So who am I? I'm a product of the people who came before me, who had the vision for what it means to be a language educator in the world, not just in the United States. And I'm also hoping that I will get the opportunity to help more teachers come into the profession and stay in the profession. I became a language teacher because this is going to sound so corny, but I say this all the time and I still mean it from the bottom of my heart. I think this is the way we can change the world. When people get to know each other, when people get to speak different languages and understand different cultures, peace happens. We don't end up fighting when we get to know people closely. We end up calming down and being close. So at the age I'm at, I want to try to make a difference in the world. And I feel like language education is such a good way to do that. And I want to make sure that there's more of us so we can keep on doing it. So I really wrote this piece. It came to me that I have to talk about my journey so that other people can think to themselves, hey, it is worth it to be a language teacher in spite of everything that we face. And it's worth it to keep doing it. And when you feel like you can't anymore, you got to reach out to somebody. Don't
Yeah.
stay alone. Don't stay silent. Don't live with a problem. Talk to somebody, find somebody. So that's where this came from, because I have an amazing network of people and I want
Yeah.
to share that with folks.
Well, I think you've done a masterful job. You trace the contour of a long and very productive career that starts with needing help, being offered help, embracing it, and then going on to find all sorts of other channels to receive support, onto what you're doing now, which is providing support for others. So mentee, mentor, just it's a wonderful trajectory. And I love that you put it out there as a way, as one of the ways in which you can be a better world language educator. If you don't try to just power through and bear with it, that it's exhausting, it's
Yeah.
not productive, and because of technology, as you pointed out, you're not limited to your own little campus or district or building. You can reach out to other states, you can reach out to other countries, for heaven's sakes, and you
Yes.
can find mentors and support and broaden your world. We want our students to do that.
That's
So,
exactly. Yes. Well, we have to teach students that they shouldn't be going it alone either. So if we're not living that, how can we teach that to students? So, interpersonal communication, that's a third of what we do, hopefully a little more than that actually.
yeah.
And we have to partake in interpersonal communication as well, which means sometimes admitting you are not right or that you don't have all the answers. And I am so blessed right now because I'm in a situation where I have around me mentors and
Mm.
coaches that I can turn to when I don't know the answer, who I can trust and who can help me. And I try to be that for people as well. Just this past Sunday, I made a presentation about leadership, and I told people, reach out to me if you need to. And I say that all the time to people, and sometimes people reach out and sometimes they don't. But just this week after that presentation, 2 people reached out from that presentation and said, Liz, could you please give me 15-20 minutes of your time? In fact, I have a call today with one of those people that I said, sure, I can listen to you. Absolutely. And the piece of advice I would give to everybody, and I've given this many times before, is take a breath and listen. Listening is the most important thing we can do. We don't have to have the answers. Sometimes people just need to be able to be listened to
Mhm.
fully by another human and be present with them. I believe in this whole coaching model. Elena Aguilar talks about it so often. We actually have the answers inside ourselves. We just haven't awakened to them. And the nicest, kindest thing we can do for our fellow teachers, humans, is to listen. So give them the opportunity to ask questions to them and listen back. That true interpersonal communication that world language teachers teach all the time. And we have to be part of.
As I listen to you, I keep putting your words in the context of other educators as well as in the context of students. So you've just said you need to listen. And I think that's true of fellow educators, but I think listening to your students, just taking a moment to listen to them is equally important. And in the article, you said you have to be a lifelong learner. So if you're going to be an educator, you must never stop learning. And your words just resonate so much with me.
Well, thank you. I am a lifelong learner. And I find that when I get myself in the worst trouble with things is when I think, oh, I have to do this by myself. People will think I don't know. And people at my age, a lot of times, younger people, we fear, people my age fear, especially the technology thing. Like, we don't know the latest way, the quickest way, and all that sort of thing. That can be true or not. But what I found is when I go to my younger coworkers and I just say, hey, I know you know how to do this. Can you show me? They don't make fun of me. They don't mess. They show me. It's really cool. So that's a simple way that we can be lifelong learners. AI is another example of where we have to jump in the pool,
Yeah.
whether or not you love it or hate it, and it's all of those things are valid. It's here, and we got to jump in that pool and be able to at least have a conversation about it. So all of those are lifelong learner situations. And remember, to me, it's a cycle. It's not just that I'm learning, but it's also that I'm giving. I think of it. I think of it with many metaphors: a spiral or a circle or waves in the ocean. Of like sometimes you're giving because that's where you are, and other times you have to be willing to take and receive, and being open to the universe to show you which direction you're in right now. You're never done. That's the other thing, is you're never done, and you're never going to stay right where you are. You're going to always be moving through whatever the cycle is.
I am so glad that you wrote this Educator Voices article. It's a very good one. And I'm really glad that we overcame our sound issues on Zoom and that we can actually hear your voice. This has been a very, very lovely conversation that goes well beyond the article. I love when that happens.
Well,
So,
thank
Liz
you so much
Matchett,
for inviting me. I appreciate this opportunity. And y'all, anybody watching this, reach out. I would love to get to know you.
fantastic. Thank you, Liz. You take care.
Thanks,
We'll
Marty.
talk again.